What's happening, sports fans? We welcome you to what is now immediately my favorite interview that will ever be done, because they asked if the intern was available. We'll do the mystery reveal. It's the West Hills Wolfpack, the 10-0. I know you're going to say, oh, it's, we're 1-0, it's playoff season, whatever, but you're 10-0. Congratulations. Very excited about that. Let's go down the line and introduce ourselves, because nobody can identify football players without a number and a name and a helmet on. So name, grade, and position, please.
My name is Andrew Engstrom, 12th grade, and I play center.
Frederick Robotham.
You can pull that all the way back to you.
Casey Ash, head football coach.
What were you going with there? I
was going Frederick Robotham, junior slot back.
Like it. I like it.
Braden Oberg, senior quarterback.
Cohen Beneventi, senior cornerback.
Max Conaway, senior wide receiver.
Very nice. The senior class. So, guys, feels good, I'm assuming, to be where we are right now? Yes? Could it have gone any better? No? We're happy with the season. There's nothing but good vibes and momentum going into the playoffs now, yes?
Yes, sir.
So what has the last couple of days been like? Is this continuously finding another gear, cranking it up for the playoffs, or just keep doing what you've been doing? Where can we, I guess let's start with the swagged out, chained out quarterback. What has the prep been like this week?
Honestly, we've been a lot of sticking to what we know. We don't want to throw anything too crazy in there. We're trying to keep it simple, but keep it ramped up, just so we know what we're getting into and just preparing as best we can.
Has anything changed? Has the pregame playlist changed? Are you into even more hype of music? Are you guys a superstitious bunch, and you just want to do the same things?
Personally, I'm pretty superstitious. I try and keep it a nice routine, but prep wise, we've been watching a little bit more film. We've been doing a little bit more just because it's an unfamiliar opponent, but for the most part, I think we're pretty similar, pretty routine.
I think we still have a couple weapons that we haven't really shown too much, so that's nice. Nice feeling going into the playoffs to have a few things left in your pocket that maybe we've been working on in practice but not shown in games yet. So I feel like we're in a real nice spot.
Now, for you, Coach, you have the benefit of having been at the school and seen the ups and downs of all these different seasons. Where does this 10-0 rank just in terms of the experiences that you've had for a regular season experience?
Oh, the absolute pinnacle. It's been great. These guys have been awesome to coach. It's been a fun team. There's a lot of personality on the team, but also a lot of maturity, and that's kind of a hard combination to get, but it's been a special group of kids that's been coming through together for the last 4 years, and then we've got a couple pretty good classes behind them as well that have really stepped to the forefront and helped us out this year. So couldn't ask for anything better than what we've had the last few weeks.
You guys talk about Bonita Vista, your opponent this Friday, being an unfamiliar team. How do you try and do the common opponents, they played these guys, or at some point do you just at 10-0 have a certain level of confidence in what you guys are capable of doing as a football team?
I think that it's hard to just, I don't know, we have to pretend that, sorry, I'm losing it.
It's all good.
Yeah. I think that we have to prepare just like any other team. It is an unfamiliar opponent, like you said, but it's just, if we don't approach it with a certain level of caution, I think it could come up on us like a sneak attack. But I think that the way we're approaching it, I think we have a good shot.
I think our only common opponent was Olympian. Was that right? Yeah. So I think looking at that film is more important than any other, since we know what worked against that team and what didn't. So we can identify what they ran against that team and how we can assess that sort of.
Olympian was the third game for you guys. Are you guys even the same team as you are back then? Because I mean, yeah, these are all W's in the books, but I feel like that team that was week 1 against Kearney might not be the same team as you are week 8 or something like that.
We're definitely not the same team. I feel like I think the beginning weeks were kind of sloppy with some of the things, and now that we're weak,
hard to say with 55-0 right out the gate. But okay,
I think looking at that film and looking at the previous week's film is two completely different teams, because we've finally cranked down on the little things which matter in football games.
You guys played a couple of close games, and I do think that the LCAP game. I would just love to know: are those guys as good of skill position people as every? They are underappreciated, and I think that they are undervalued in terms of how good they are at skill positions. But the rest of this is a pretty big margin of victory. So, do we have defense and offense arguing over who takes credit for the team's success at this point? Is this you guys are all one happy family? Is there a little bit of rivalry, the first team O, first team D right now?
I think that we're pretty much a big old happy family because, some weeks we'll have the offense put up a ton of points and the defense still will shut them out. And other weeks we'll have the defense won't be playing great and the offense will have to kind of pick it up, or the offense won't be producing like we should and the defense kind of has to get a few more stops than they usually do. But, I think it goes back and forth, and it's definitely a good medium.
I want to hear from someone on the defense.
Max is the guy who plays both sides the most.
Do you have a lot of guys going both ways right now?
Oh, yeah.
How deep is the roster, varsity-wise and program-wise?
With our call-ups, we've got about 52 on the varsity.
Okay.
And during the season, we were about 45 on the varsity, 40 on the JV, 40 on the freshman.
So all three, freshman,
Yeah,
JV,
we had
varsity.
all three
Awesome. Wonderful. Great to hear. Please.
What was the question?
Just what's our defense and offense perfect harmony?
okay, yeah.
Does one take more credit? Because he's trying to say that the defense had to step it up a couple times, but yeah, 21 points being the most allowed, it felt like that's a pretty clean scorecard for the defense all season.
I think our defense is definitely a bigger part of our program right now. Like our offense, we make mistakes and that's expected, but our defense is always coming back up to make up for that, get the ball back, put us right back out on the field, and just keep us going, keep us trucking.
You guys get to have it as a home game. How'd the crowd do this year in terms of turning out? Student section and everybody? Yeah?
It definitely, the student section started slow, but as we started winning, more and more people are like, oh, maybe we could actually come watch these games.
So we're not calling anybody out right now. We're here to give a good, solid A, or like an A minus maybe for them for the season. Like they get a passing grade.
I think it climbed. The grade was climbing as the games went on.
Yeah, shout out Kayla and Maddie and ASB for getting the kids together and getting the student section out there. Good job, girls. And while you mentioned our game against Kearney a couple minutes ago, I just want to shout out Kearney for finishing the season with back-to-back wins. That was awesome to see those guys have some success at the end of the season. Very happy for that.
A lot of chaos the last 3 or 4 weeks compared to the first 3 or 4 weeks, with some teams pulling a couple of upsets, Kearney included. You guys all being seniors, I genuinely would love to know, kind of an open-ended question, but what is the intended legacy? But it feels like that's being written pretty solidly right now. Are you guys going to give me the 1 week at a time? We're just trying to have fun in the playoffs, or are you looking at you think you can have a serious shot at a championship here?
Honestly, I think that we are taking it 1 week at a time. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, especially with these just unfamiliar opponents again. It's hard to. Do you guys want that, or do you guys want to play somebody again? Like, would you rather play a team that you've already seen? I would rather play new teams because I think it's a good chance for us to test ourselves and then kind of show everybody else that's watching from the outside that may think that our schedule might have been a little bit on the easier side to show.
The haters.
The haters that think we played the easy schedule. I think that it's a good chance.
So you would prefer some new opponents? Because I always love that about the playoffs, and I think that that's a great part of the playoffs is you see these matchups that are north, south, east, west, whatever, and you're like, oh, those teams have never played in 5 years. Have any of you guys, has Bonita been in the schedule previous? Like, is there a recent track record against Bonita?
Not in the schedule, but we did play them in the playoffs a few years ago. The year after they went to the state championship, we played them in the playoffs. So we've seen them in the not too distant past, but
none of you guys have played them at any level, right?
Nope.
Okay, that's awesome. I asked you previously what you got to do to earn the chain. Do you end up wearing it most weeks as the quarterback, or is this...
definitely not. It gets past share love. We've had, I think Dylan Snyder wore it last week. He's a big player on offense for us. Had a couple of touchdowns. Diego, he's our sophomore running back. He wears it a lot. It's just.
And you wear it all day, like to class and everything like that, or is this just you're dressing up nice for the interview?
Usually during the game, if you score a touchdown, it's a whole ceremony. You go and put the chain on you.
It's a whole ceremony. Can we get a brief reenactment of said ceremony right now, or is it sort of have to be like in the moment type of thing?
It's more like in the moment. I mean, they just run over to the sideline and bow their head, and you throw it over their neck, and everybody celebrates. It's pretty fun, but
I would like to request that we have somebody in ASB, because the ASB West sounds reliable. Someone from ASB get a video of that come Friday. And then if you win, we can publish it. If not, we'll delete it and we'll blame me for the loss and all of that goodness. I'm used to that level of superstition. Who has control of the aux cord is also something that I always need to know. Who's got the I see a sigh come from Coach.
I don't even know what an aux cord is.
Well, like, who's got the pregame music? Like who? I guess aux cord might be who's Bluetooth now. That is probably the.
We have a couple people. It's usually Dylan Snyder or Danny Hermes, who's an end for us. So they switch between games.
And they're doing well?
Yeah, they're doing pretty well.
They didn't have to be taken off of music control all season?
No.
What is some of the music going for you guys? You got okay? Go ahead. On speaker, please. Who are we talking to?
Teammate Elijah.
Hi, Elijah.
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Not too much.
What's up?
Do you know where Cohen is? Is Cohen with you?
I'm in the interview right now. I'm in the little podcast.
Okay. Yeah. Ayani texted me asking if you were good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm here.
Right. Yeah, that was it.
How you guys gonna do this Friday? No.
Wait.
How are you guys gonna do this Friday?
Are we gonna play?
Yeah.
Is there something else going on Friday?
No, I guess not. I expect to win. I expect to. We're gonna come out there hyped, and prepared.
You know.
You know. Come out hyped and prepared. Thank you, man.
All right, thank you. See you, Gibson.
All right, see you.
He handled that well. Completely unfazed. Great media training from them, Coach. So we approve of the pregame music, but I was going to get some samples of what it is. No? Is it all non-PG and no. Parents will be upset if they hear it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's all
fair enough.
I zone out. I zone out a lot, and I don't listen to those pregame songs because they're just not like what I do before games.
Okay, what do you do before games?
I usually I'm in the locker room, so I hear the song, but I usually just I'm by myself, staring at the ground, and I'm just have my legs shaking. I'm just trying to stay ready for get ready, stay ready.
Coach, this feels like this whole calendar year has been insane for football. Having the spring season and then are you tired? Are you exhausted of football? Has this been too much football in 2021, or are you guys still doing good?
No. Well, I don't know how well I've done, but I've tried to keep them kind of fresh as much as you can. But, yeah, we've been on it for a long time, man. These guys basically been 2 years straight, almost 2 years straight now with very little time off. We were working out all through the pandemic and stuff, and then eventually got a short season this spring, and then I think we took 2 weeks off after that season and got into our summer program. So it's been a stretch, and when it's all over, I'm going to collapse, no doubt about that. But until that happens, we're going to keep going full blast for as long as we can.
Because I think people look sometimes and be like, oh, they've played a bunch of games this year. That must be fun for them. I don't think people always realize that football, you're either all in or you're not. There is no, we weeks 2 through 5 of the season. We were whatever. We showed up to a couple of the practices. We hung out. Football is you're all in. You're like you said, you're gonna collapse and completely dead. Noting that this will probably actually never happen, but looking back on it, would you enjoy a 2-week padded practice spring sort of something or other being a part of high school football in California or in San Diego?
Well, I thought if we were going to get that, that might have come up last spring. If we hadn't had that short season, I thought we might get a padded practice. I would like to see it. I think it number one, you get some extra work tackling and having contact, which we probably don't get enough of nowadays. And I think a lot of other states have done it successfully, so I don't see any reason why we couldn't do it if we wanted to push it. There's obviously going to be obstacles and hurdles. There always are, but I think it could be done, and I think we've kind of, over the course of the pandemic, strengthened ourselves as a coaching community and might be able at this point to make something like that happen.
Well, do you guys feel, I mean, you might not even be able to tell, but do you feel like does any part of this 10-0, the skill level that you're playing at right now, have anything to do with the fact that you played, 3 games?
5.
5 games in the spring season. So 5 games a lot more recently than you would have played otherwise.
I definitely think that has a big part of it. I mean, we do have a heavy senior class, but with the pandemic and everything, we didn't have a lot of experience. So we did have the older kids, but we were a little bit lacking experience. So I think that 5 games really was a huge part in getting them all kind of.
Because that would have been all of your junior years.
Yeah. So I think if we didn't have that season, it would have been straight from JV as a sophomore to varsity as a senior with pretty much no experience playing any varsity games for a good majority of the kids. And I think that was a huge part in getting us ready on all levels to perform.
In the spring, we only had 6 kids in that senior class in the spring. So when we came back in the fall, our entire
6
team,
kids in the class of 20 or 21
yeah.
that would have graduated at the end of that spring.
Yeah.
Deal.
So we brought our entire team back, which you don't get to do very often. So yeah, all these kids that are playing got a lot of experience. We don't often return like 9-10 starters, but this year we did. So I would agree it was huge. And I want to hear what Cohen has to say about it, man.
Well, I mean, I would just want to say that, that really helped us kind of point out the flaws we had and just to refine it over the summer, over the spring, and just really nail it down to get like where we are now. Like it really helped just to see what other teams had, see what we had, and then just where to work on.
Because I think that you bring up an interesting point with tackling and exposure to other teams. I get the ultimate underlying argument is you don't want to take away, you don't want to have like, oh, we fight with the baseball team to get the baseball kid. But to me, a couple of weeks in pads feels like a great safety net to add to the high school football regimen and routine of just do some of the fundamentals. That's not like a 7.5 month gap between the last time you do it. Cause you don't do that in any other sport. You don't take 7 months off from seeing a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and then step right back into the batter's box or anything like that. And I get it that it's certain people are limited by how many kids they have in their programs and yada, yada. But it feels like you guys said, it got you a lot of exposure. It got you a lot of safety. This game against Bonita will be on Friday at home. Is there a theme? Do we know? Are you guys getting any sort of special treatment? Are you getting another pep rally? Is the school at least hype? Are people enjoying you and celebrating you properly?
I think there's definitely a lot of hype going around. I don't know if there's a theme. I haven't heard anything yet, but I think there will definitely be a pep rally, and there's going to be some celebrations and some.
The school is treating you guys correctly, yes?
Yeah.
We've had 2, really huge games back to back with Santana and El Cap to finish the season, which the student body was heavily involved in. And so it's tough after you come back from those games to get fired up again to play a team that the kids at
you
school
have no
don't know
plot
Bonita
line
Vista.
against.
So, they're the student body's theme and what they got going on and all of that stuff. That's kind of separate from us a little bit. And I certainly hope we get a ton of them out there on Friday, but regardless of who shows up at the stands, we got to be ready to play. And I think, amongst ourselves, we've talked a lot about that.
And you guys feel ready? I get the sense that you guys are confident. Like confident is the underlying theme, I would assume, through the senior class right now. Yeah. Happy with where you're at?
Yeah, I think it was huge to get placed where we are. I think it's I think it's good to play this week, but it's good to be able to kind of focus on being able to get our practice in, but not be like getting smashed in the mouth right out of the gate in playoffs. So it's good to.
You're happy with where you're at seating wise. You feel like you got a favorable matchup, and I get the sense that you didn't want to buy.
Yeah, I mean,
that's always the tricky one in football is do you want to take the week off or not?
Yeah, the week off. It's if you have a lot of injured kids or a bunch of kids that are banged up and bruised up, it's good for you. But I think much aside from that, it's kind of only going to hurt you with, especially when you don't have a lot to put in or a lot to install or a lot to practice. I think it's just good to stay in there and just keep everybody warm and ready to play.
Any trick plays? Anything left to get at? You don't have to tell us, what it would be, obviously, but is there a secret? You open up the playbook to like the last couple of pages for the playoffs. You're like, guys, this is the secret stuff.
No, we are only going to run dive right and dive left.
Student body right, student body left.
All you guys are going to see from us. No trick plays whatsoever. I don't even know what a trick play is.
You're going to just do 3 QB kneels and a punt.
Yeah.
Yep. Just let the defense do all the work.
Hope for the best.
And hope for a muffed punt or something like that. Just do onside kicks, get in field goal range. Just really mess with their heads.
Go in here, get his 4th, 5th, and 6th defensive touchdown of the year all on Friday.
Really? You're going to have him double his amount of defensive touch? Yeah. You feel comfortable with that? That's no pressure?
I would be amazed if that happened. I'm trying to make it happen.
Do we have the ways in which he's going to score them already picked out? Like, I get the sense that you want to see maybe one's an interception, one's a scoop and score, one's a strip sack.
I have a kick return, pick 6, and a scoop and score. So what I'm missing right now is a punt return. So if one of them can be a punt return, then that'll be it.
What I hope for is during field goal block, he like goes up and as the ball is being kicked, he grabs it out of the air and just
that seems unlikely for anybody.
Maybe,
but if you get that done, like I don't even know what we would do, but Sports Center probably would be waiting for you at the end of a night like that. So you're saying just as it's kicked, he's just Troy Polamaluing, just jumping over the line, catching it. Yeah, perfect. Good. Go do that. That seems easy enough. Just time that correct and get that good jump. Coach will be very happy that you did all the squats in the off season that wound up with that. Guys, we really appreciate you spending a bunch of your time with us tonight. Congratulations on 10-0 and everything that is still yet to come. We will have all of the information on where you can get tickets to and go check out their game on Friday night in the links or the swipes ups or whatever is these constantly changing words that we have to do. Guys, thank you so much. Have a great night. And is it just go Wolfpack, go West Hills? Is there a specific hashtag or saying or something like that you guys have this year?
Wolfpack fam.
Wolfpack fam. All right. We'll see you later, Wolfpack fam.